Welcome. I'm Cynthia Hoven with EurythmyOnline.com, teaching you how to build your own personal eurythmy practice of mindful movement. This is lesson 1 of webinar series number 4, featuring vowels and colors as expressions of the soul. Remember, these lessons are funded entirely through your donations at EurythmyOnline.com. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to our Eurythmy webinar, Series 4, as we begin a new series. Thank you so much for coming and showing up. Welcome to all of you around the world. I know there are people here around the country and North and South America, people in Asia, people in Europe watching, and it's so exciting to know that we're all here working, connecting, and bringing light into the world of the internet, doing good deeds, even through this world of the computers. So happy to be here. So many of us who are here together today have been working together since last June on these webinar series, and some of you are new to these series. And so we have to figure out a way to join the two of them. Let me speak a little bit to you before we get started. Those of you who have been coming to the other series already, you know that I have been doing the Eurythmy first, speaking to you first at the end of the lesson, then taking a lot of questions. But today I'm going to take a little bit longer to do some introductory words, mostly to welcome in the new people and get us all on the same page together. So I hope that all of you received my email from yesterday. If you're on our mailing list, you've received that email. If you haven't received it, don't worry. I'll send the same information out this afternoon in today's follow-up email to you. In that, I sent a lot of information as part of my attempt or my work to get the newcomers on board with what we've been doing so far. So every week in the PDF, I send information about the lesson that we're going to do. And I only include the information that's new. That means that those of you who are just jumping on board, you're going to be a little bit behind. So I sent a couple of other PDFs with the work yesterday. So listen carefully. There will be some things that we do today, like contraction, expansion, threefold walking, and the rod exercises that the newcomers won't have learned yet. Newcomers, I'm so committed to not having people do exercises that they're not, that they can't really understand. But I want you to know that you can go back onto YouTube and you'll find where you can learn the exercises that we did in webinar 2 and webinar 3. So that's the first news. Go to YouTube to watch the previous webinars to be sure that you catch up. And this is for everyone. I also sent in the email a kind of table of contents, of webinar contents, and that shows what was in each of the previous webinars so that all of you can go back and look at the previous ones and say, how did she introduce the sevenfold exercise, the waterfall, and so on. So we're building the reference table for you. Furthermore, I sent 2 more PDFs, and this is mostly for the newcomers. One of them that gives the summary of the instructions, the written instructions for all of the exercises in webinar 2, and the second one that gives all the information for webinar 3. These are such rich documents, and someday I'll make a book out of all of them. But at this point, Those of you who are participating in this work, you get them as downloads, and they're part of this donation journey that we're on together. Thank you so much. All right. I also have a word for you and your personal practice. A couple of you, more than half a dozen of you, have written to say, thank you so much for these exercises. I want you to know that I have some personal difficulties. One woman says, my bones ache too much. I need to sleep. I can't always make it. And when I do, I just have to sit in my chair. Other persons have arthritis, and one of our watchers broke her ankle. So I want to assure you that for that small number of you who are not able to get up and do all these big movements, you're still getting a lot out of this if you sit in your chair and do the exercises. So you can sit, you can do the rod exercises, you can do all of the arm exercises in sitting. And when we do the exercises with the lower body, or the exercises walking forwards and backwards and walking stars, if you're sitting, you have the great opportunity to really work these exercises in your mind. And in doing that, you're still enlivening your etheric body in a powerful way. So take good courage. It's all helpful, even if you're sitting. So enjoy that, please. All right, let me go on a little bit more, just to set the basis for the new beginning. As you know, my name is Cynthia, and I've been doing Eurythmy since I began my training at age 23. And I've been active since then my whole life, doing Eurythmy lessons, teaching, doing therapy, and doing performing and artistic work with it. Most recently, I've been traveling around the country, around the world, teaching Eurythmy and also anthroposophy. And that's my great joy to do both. My specialty has always been in adult education, more than with children, because I love to take people on a journey of understanding Eurythmy as a personal path and Eurythmy as a journey of understanding your spiritual knowledge. I consider myself so lucky that through my own training, my teachers were really committed to working with us on meditation, on star knowledge, the wisdom of astrosophy, on philosophy, and on the whole understanding of the meaning of life, the cosmos, the position of the human being, and our evolution. And because that's part of this, I understand how through Eurythmy, anthroposophy comes alive. I don't just think of my anthroposophical understanding as diagrams and notes and formulas and abstract knowledge. I understand how through Eurythmy, we really feel the etheric body. We come to know our emotions and overcome them, purify them, and we know how to get in touch with our core. And for that, I've always wished that everyone around the world, especially people who have questions, but everyone, have been wishing that people would seek out Eurythmy and find teachers who can take them on a journey into the heart of their spiritual being. And in a strange way, this COVID crisis has made this possible by giving us the opportunity to meet on Zoom. We all know that that's not nearly as ideal as having live, warm, in-person classes. And nonetheless, it's really serving something. As you hundreds of people who are involved in this work here, Eurythmy Online, these hundreds of people, you are changing yourself and developing and growing and going deep with me. And that's what you write to me in your emails. And believe me, I'm so grateful for everything that you write. So because of this spiritual grounding, let's affirm for ourselves that everything that's going on in this time of life, right now, 2020, craziest time that I can remember in my life on this earth, that all this is part of a bigger story, the story of the evolution of humanity. We are here placed on the earth. We're here to evolve ourselves. We're here to create love. We're here to honor this earth, which has been given to us so that we can grow up, so that we can learn, so that we can become. We have a great mandate to work in ecological and social awareness. And this virus has been part of this whole journey of us coming to know where we're not in integrity as human beings. And so let's keep that in mind in what we're doing, that we can only be in integrity, or we can best be in integrity, when we're in touch with our spiritual core, that light of self burning like a jewel in our hearts. So in everything we're doing in Eurythmy, that's where I want to place our emphasis. I heard a wonderful story. Let's bring that as one last background picture, that we can imagine, or we can understand, as we came to the earth, we were loaned this garment. You can imagine this garment that you're wearing as if it has beautiful jewels, symbol of the mineral world, shining upon it. We live in these minerals, and it has the weavings of plants on it, embroidered, beautiful plants, symbol of the life forces that we live in. And before we were born, the angels stitched onto our garment the pictures of the animals, and they are all living in us as part of our emotional body, our astral body. And then we live inside this, gifted with the property of language. This is our sacred garment. And we all know in the course of our lives, perhaps after we were 21, but this garment becomes a little bit tattered, a little bit old. And as we progress through life, it becomes more tired. We need to weave a new garment. We need to weave a garment in our lifetimes that replaces, what do I mean? Out of our own work, we have to learn how to weave for ourselves our own garment of life. And in this garment, we will place the jewels of the mineral world if we have been good to the earth and good to our bodies, symbol of our bones. And we will weave the plants and the etheric world into our body as we grow in awareness of nature. And as we take care of the animal nature in ourselves, even as a zookeeper would do that, even as a circus master would do that, even as St. Francis would do that, in gentle, kind relationship to the best of the animals, our astral body is transformed. We take up habitation in ourselves. We live in integrity in the world, do right by it. Mother Nature, thank you. So friends, a few last words today. We stand at the season of Michaelmas. Last week was Michaelmas Sunday or Tuesday. I also gave a talk. If you wanted to hear it, you'll hear it again, it's on YouTube. I gave a talk about how Michael is the spiritual guardian of this autumn season, taking us into this plunge as nature is falling away, as it does every year. We're plunging into the season of autumn. Plunging into the season of autumn, nature will no longer delight us. We have to go into so-called darkness, into the realms where there's less outer life. And we can do that if we are blessed with the courage of Michael, so that we know even though the world dies, even though I face death, I will not die. I will have strength. Wonderful inspirational pictures there. And so the season of Michaelmas lasts for 4 weeks. And as part of that, we're going to kind of theme our work today around some Michaelmas verses, Michaelmas poems, a little bit energetic. And by the end of this series, we will have arrived in November, just before Holy Night. And in the middle of the series, we'll come to the season of the All Souls festivals, the very beginning of November, when we remember our dead. And so in that feeling, we're going to use as our theme through this period a poem about our relationship to death and life. And we'll learn how to work with this poem in Eurythmy. So with that as a long beginning, I think we're kind of oriented for today. One more word here though. I will begin every series now with the exercises that we can do as a personal practice. That means we're going to really dig in, and I won't bring the new exercises until we've gotten our warm-up going. So with that, especially those of you who have been with our previous journeys, you'll be able to identify which are the pieces you've already done. What have you learned for your personal practice? And I won't be overwhelming you with too many things. And then we'll start to add the dessert or the cream or the next step of things. And as I promise you, we'll work on vowels and on colors as we go forth. Let's begin. Take your place in your room. In your room, standing straight. You can take a stretch. However feels good for you, so that your life body is going to be accessible for your movements. In this series, we're going to use our warm-up exercise, the so-called peace exercise. This peace strengthens our heart by asking our heart to be aware of itself as we stand in space. And so as you stand, we become aware, first of all, of our vertical axis, standing, connecting us to earth and to heaven. Now, as you stand, imagine to yourself the stars above your head, and imagine one star is there, shining for you. Let it be an emblem of your higher self or your angel, sending good energy down to you. And only if you stand straight will that energy be able to land in your crown. Don't look up, keep your head level, but awaken your sensation of the top of your head and imagine this light flowing from eternity right into your present moment. Let this light now shine down through your body. You may imagine it to be a narrow column or a broad column, but let it shine down through you, into your feet, into the molten core of the earth. Feel this line of light. Feel that this is living light, and notice if you connect to that, you feel the strength to be present. Good friends, now release that for a second because I want to reinforce this feeling. Notice how you stand in normal life, casual or worse. And now you're going to stand again in that light, connecting heaven and earth, the light coming in your head, through your spine, into your feet. Notice if you walk through life like that, you have your integrity. And even if you're sitting, you can create this feeling. Yep. Once again, just once more, forget it. Notice it's a whole different way of living, and now stand straight. I am here. Now this line of light that you are is interesting for heaven and earth, but we also need to be interesting for humanity, for the world of nature. And this is the realm of our heart, millions of miles below the stars, thousands of miles above the center of the earth. Is this realm that we inhabit. Spread your arms wide and feel how that opens your chest here. Feel that. And try to feel through both arms, right and left at the same time. You are a cross, the cross of light. Feel that. Beautiful feeling, also a little bit vulnerable. Now release your arms. And what we have created is the cross, up, down, right, left. But there's one more axis to the cross, and that's front, back. Ask yourselves, what's the difference between the space in front of you and the space behind? The space in front of you, right, is visible. You can reach it, you can touch it, you can grasp it. We call that the visual space. We call that the space of the sense world, of our day waking consciousness. And what about the space behind you? And we all notice right away, it's invisible, right? And we can hardly sense it. But I want us to activate our etheric imaginations and feel as if we've got the whole light of heaven, all of the stars behind our back. And in Eurythmy, we're going to really work on opening our relationship to space in all directions, especially the backspace. So imagine you can see all that backspace filled with stars. So take a step forward. I love the sense world. And take a step backwards. In my meditations, in my sleep, in my dreams, I try to access the invisible sources. And again, the front space, the world of the senses, and feel the backspace. And rest. You are light. We'll put these together now. We're going to make this cross in 3 axes and find the heart at the center. Standing straight, imagine the stars above your head coming into you and connecting you to the center of the earth. You are light. Spread your arms wide. You are love. Take a step forward. You're woven into the sense world. Take a step back. We're surrounded by invisible good sources of strength and inspiration. Now bring your 2 hands and lay them in front of your heart. Everything that you experience your whole life, waking and sleeping, everything is imprinted in your heart. Breathe. Feel your lungs massaging, and here I mean the heart chakra actually. I want the center of your chest. Breathe. Feel how the light comes into your heart, in not just in a physical way, but in a way from another dimension. You are light. And let's do this again. Now, we're just going to open up and feel those dimensions. You ready? Now we're going to leave this place of balance and we're going to go down. If you can, go all the way down like I do. If you can't, you don't have to, you can just point downwards. And I feel I'm going into the world of gravity. I love being immersed in my muscles. Now release, go up. The world of the stars. I connect myself to that lightness. Now I hold the balance in the middle, awakening our sense of the etheric space. Come forwards. The world of the senses draws us in. Go back. The world of the spirit releases us. Inside your heart, you bear an image of the whole world. Breathe. Feel the reality of yourself, your best self, your sacred self. And again, open wide. This time, let your hands, as you go through space, feel space as if it's actually tangible. And as you go down, feel, I go down into gravity, up into levity, back to hold the balance in the middle. Feel those different feelings. And going forwards, make it real. Feel your eyes, your desires, everything reaching forward. As you go back, feel the backspace. The world of the spirit releases me. Inside my heart, I bear an image of the whole world. Once again, so that you're aware of what you're practicing, I want you to become aware of how we inhabit space. So we're woven into space on this cross. And the dynamic polarities of the space are these directions. Downness, feel downness. I go down, I feel heavier, stronger, more earthy. Yes, I love the earth. As you go up, change the way you move. Go up lightly, like a plant rising to the heavens. I love the stars. Don't look up, but feel upness. Spread wide, feel your heart open. Arms are made to touch the world. And now put all of your attention on the front of your body, including your knees and your feet, everything. I love the world of the senses. Now put your attention on all the backspace. The world of spirit releases me. Inside my heart, I bear an image of the whole world. Breathe. Now, one last time. This time, affirm for yourself that your sacred heart knows peace. We're going to make a meditation, a mindful movement that we create peace in the world around us. Whatever else is happening, we can choose how we show up. So we go down with our hands, with our energy, we feel, may peace be below me. May peace be above me. May peace be all around me. May peace be before me. May peace be behind me. May peace be within me. Now, if that were all that we did in Eurythmy, we would already have achieved a lot. From here, you could walk out into the world. But we'll take the next step and create the movement of expansion and contraction. Your hands here at your heart. Let's open our arms. And as we open, we become increasingly light and ethereal until our whole heart through our arms touches the widths of space, the edges of eternity. Don't look up, feel. Our intention is to feel as big as we can without using our eyes. And now bring all of that eternity into your heart, affirming my Creator is looking for me, for my heart. There it is. Turn it around and give back. Give back to the world. Give back to the stars. Give back to your Creator. Until at a certain point we've given it all away, and with great trust we are filled again from the world. We feel that spark of light in our hearts. And we have a verse which many of you know, and I'll speak at this time. Within my heart shines the light of the sun. Within my soul weaves the warmth of the world. I will breathe the light of the sun. I will feel the warmth of the world. Light of the sun pour into me, and warmth of the world flow through me. Stand straight. After this opening exercise of the peace exercise, feeling your heart, stand straight. Affirm, yes, I'm here. Great. I would like to go on now with a verse for MICHAELMAS, verse for courage. And this is one that we do with the children in school, but it will also be fun to do it with you. And this verse says, I am brave, I am strong, I am valiant, I am bold, for the sun fills my heart with its life-giving gold. I am helpful and truthful and loving and free, for the sun's golden rays do shine brightly in me. And we do this with the children to get them ready for their imagined fight with the dragon on a symbolic level. We're building this picture with the children that we all have work to do in taking care of the animals that live inside us, fighting our own inner dragons. But we need courage for that, and valor, and so on. So in Eurythmy, we practice those strengths with a verse like this. Now follow me. I'm going to start with a gesture for the word brave. I am brave. This is a nice Eurythmy A. We'll explain it more for the newcomers in a while. I am strong. We're going to do a nice Eurythmy T. I am strong. And now a surprising sound for most of you. We're going to do a nice Eurythmy V for valiant. I am valiant. And a nice B for bold. I am bold. For the sun fills my heart. We're going up to the sun with our feeling. For the sun fills my heart. Here we go. Heart. With its life-giving gold. We do a big L with its life giving warm gold. I am helpful. I am helpful and nice you and truthful and loving and loving and free. For the sun's golden rays, do shine. This is an I, brightly in me. Those of you who have done Eurythmy before, you recognize these gestures. Some of you who are much newer will be kind of floundering to begin with, but like we do with the children, we'll repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until this flows so easily for you. But I also commit to explaining each of these sounds for you in the course of these weeks going forward. So you really know what you're doing and you're not just making symbol language. Do it again. I am brave. Nice A. Feel that feeling of crossing. I am brave. With the sound T, I am strong. Going to take the depths of the world, the heights of the world, the heights of the world right into ourselves. I am strong. Do those two again. I am brave. I am strong. This is the T. I am valiant. And up and down like a movement over the landscape, the hills and the valleys. It's the V sound. I am valiant. I am bold. Wrap your cloak of courage around yourself with the B. Good, let's do that again. I am brave. I am strong. I am valiant. I am bold. For the sun fills my heart with its life-giving gold. For the sun fills my heart. Fills my heart. And H, it comes right into your chest with its life. This is the sound L. Down into the depths, moving towards the height with its life-giving gold. I am helpful. Once again, we take the H, we'll bring it in. I am helpful and truthful. Ooh. Gather all your energy and align yourselves with your ideals, truthful, loving. Once again, we take this wonderful sound L, loving. Sprinkle love around your world and free. For the sun's golden rays do shine brightly in me. Okay. One more time. I am brave. I am strong. I am valiant. I am bold. For the sun fills my heart with its life-giving gold. I am helpful and truthful and loving and free. For the sun's golden rays do shine brightly in me. Thank you. I know it was a little bold for people who might not know sounds in Eurythmy yet, but I promise you we'll get to that because I'm so committed to not just having people do Eurythmy out of imitation, but out of insight. So we'll get there. Take your rods. Those of you who might be new to Eurythmy, you might not even have a rod here. Let me come and show you just to be sure. We have these wonderful copper rods here that we use in Eurythmy, and we can give you information on where to get one at your local hardware store. And these are about 33 to 36 inches long, pretty small. If you can't get a rod, you can use a stick, well, like a bamboo stick or a dowel, a wooden dowel of the same dimensions. And today you can just follow the movements with your arms without using a rod if necessary. And we spent webinar number 3 learning all of the rod exercises. And so if you need to go back and study them, you'll find them in the table of contents that I referenced in the email that I sent to you, and also in the PDF. So I'm committed to helping you catch up with us or keep up with us. All right. We're going to begin with the 7-fold exercise. So we're going to start here in the middle, and we will take the rod down, lift it up to the right side, to the left, to the right, above, below, in the middle. And I hope you feel this wonderful strength of waking up with the rod exercises. As I said to you, I do these every day. Below, above, right, left, right, above, below, in the middle. Precision is important, really upright. If I reference a story I told you, when we weave our garment later on, we have to be able to put the jewels on the garment. The jewels, the mineral kingdom, are kind of an image of what we're learning with a rod like this, where we sparkle with geometric precision. There we go. We're going to go straight on right now to the waterfall, and then we'll come back and got another surprise for you. Here we go. We're going to go from the depths in front with a big and really beautiful arc around your head and catch. And hope you're working on catching it. We'll do it again. Remember, don't be too concerned about just catching it while you're lifting it. What I mean is, be sure that this is a really beautiful arc over the top and behind your head, and catch. Yes. And again, up over your head. Now, remember the peace exercise where I said we have to learn to feel our backspace. That's happening here. What is your back? And take it around to the front. Again, here we have front space. And right at this point, you go into your backspace, drop the rod and catch it and take it around. Okay? I'm going to now do these 2 exercises again with a little verse from Michael, from MICHAELMAS. And we have, just follow me. I'll come a little closer. Thou Michael, the victorious, I make my circuit under thy shield. Thou Michael, of the white steed and of the bright, brilliant blade. the waterfall. Thou conqueror of the dragon, be thou at my back. Thou ranger of the heavens, thou warrior of the King of all. O Michael, the victorious, my pride and my guide. O Michael, the victorious, the glory of mine eyes. Again, this would be something that we do with children, but I wanted us to do it just so we have some Michael vigor in our work now as we come into the autumn. And this is an Irish verse. When the old Irish were speaking about Michael as the one who rides on a white horse and comes in victoriously. One more time. O thou Michael, the victorious, I make my circuit under thy shield. O Michael, of the white steed and of the bright, brilliant blade, conqueror of the dragon, be thou at my back. Thou ranger of the heavens, thou warrior of the King of all. O Michael, the victorious, my pride and my guide. O Michael, the victorious, the glory of mine eyes. Yeah, good. All right. In order to take the next step in our practice, we're going to need to learn how to move in space more freely. In our previous lessons, we've done a bit of this. We've walked, for instance, in a 5-pointed star, and we've been walking straight lines forwards and backwards many times, but I have avoided teaching you how to do circles until now, because moving in circles is more difficult, and yet it's essential for what we're going to learn next. Because organic life works in circles and spirals and curves, and nature doesn't work so much in straight lines. People work in straight lines. Nature is fluid, watery, evolving. So we're going to take a step in that direction, but to begin with, I want to work on just doing straight lines with you in preparation. Remember how we've begun looking at front space and back space. When we go forwards, we always feel I'm entering into the sense world. So let's take 4 steps forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, before you go backwards, make the sensation that you have eyes all over your back and walk backwards, knowing that you're approaching your wall. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let your body feel that, not just your head, through the length of you. Going forwards, use the eyes of your whole body. 1, 2, feel with your knees and your feet. Going back, use the other dimension. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're moving through space and backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, imagine, to enter this etheric sensation, that there is a line like an arrow coming from behind you, pushing you into the front space. Okay? Let a line of light come from behind you, come into you, take you 4 steps forward, and let it go. And now let there be a return to you from eternity, from far away ahead of you. A return takes you 4 steps back and the line goes behind you. Nice, huh? Forwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, and backwards, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Backwards, feel your backspace and rest. Now, we've worked a lot on doing threefold walking so that you have learned, you've been practicing touching with your toes first. That enables you to do exercises like this out of your heart. 4, 2, 1. If you're still touching with your heels first, which is quite typical but not healthy, if you're touching with your heels first, you'll find that this going forwards and backwards so lightly is a bit clumsy. I'll do it a little clumsily this time. I'll go, it makes me waddle like a woman, right? And back, sorry, that sounds funny, doesn't it? But it keeps me in my hips. Whereas if I move touching the ground with my toes first, 2, I can stream forwards and back. So make that your practice. 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, practice feeling your whole body moving forwards and backwards, but it can be helpful also for what's coming next to imagine the impulse to go forward strikes you right here on a place on your shoulder girdle, right here. So as I go forwards, I'm pulled forwards here. As I go back, pulled backwards there. And forwards from here, touching and back. And forwards into the sense world and back into the invisible world, into the sense world, into the invisible world. Thank you. And you'll understand a little bit now how doing the waterfall is part of awakening that up. All the different rod exercises are supporting what's coming now. Now we're going to do a diagonal line. We're going to do a diagonal line to the right. I go 1, 2, 3 steps and back again. To do it accurately, I have to imagine that there's a stream of light coming from behind me. Now, you have all, if you've seen Eurythmy, you know that we almost always stand forwards, but we have developed a way to move fluently in space while we stand forwards. Why do we do that? It means we're more incarnated in all of space with our whole body. Whereas in life, we always look where we're going. In Eurythmy, we develop etheric eyes and we feel where we're going. Thus, I make a diagonal to that side. I look forwards and I can go that way. I'm going to make a diagonal back there. I look forwards, but again, I'm back. Try to find the magic in this. You can take many more steps when you're practicing at home. Okay, let's try that going to the other direction. 1. But if I take 3 steps, I can stay on the size of the screen here. But it's really more fun to do more. And we'll need this soon when we're doing 5-pointed stars. How do you move this? All right. When we go forwards and backwards, I said, try to feel these 2 points here on the front of your shoulder girdle and on the back. Now, as you go sideways, I want you to feel as if you're being pulled at this point here, this point on your shoulders, there. Now someone pulls me from back there, pulls me there, pulls me there. And now try making a 5-pointed star. We'll work on it more later on because it's been a while since we've done one. Diagonally forward, diagonally back to your left, sideways, diagonally forward to the left, back to the center. Thank you. It was perhaps a little unfair to pull out the pentagram right now. We'll pick that up later, but I want you to recognize the fun of doing these different directions, because soon we're going to do curves. And when we do a curve, we have to have rounded shapes. And still face forward. All right, let's rest for a second. We'll do more of that next week, but I really implore you to begin practicing on your different directions and feeling how that helps you to move etherically, to take flight into space. And as we go forward, then we'll be combining that with doing our vowels and doing our poem too. So as our next step, I want to raise the question, if space were light or dark, if I ask you, which is more filled with light, the sense world or the spirit world? The sense world or the spirit world? Which one is more filled with light? From the perspective of day waking consciousness, the sense world is light, and the spirit world I experience behind me. I experience it dark because I can't see it as well, right? But it's so much easier to stream into the world of the senses. And this is more questioning. But from a spiritual perspective, the world of the senses is dark because we're seeing the appearance of things. Now like it says in the Bible, I see through a glass darkly when I look into the physical world. And when we go backwards, we go back to a place that to our spiritual eyes is more real, more full of source. And so we play with that a little bit in Eurythmy, and we're going to consider that as we go into the colors later. But I'm just laying the foundation for that right now. So let's go forward and feel it. Try to feel both things, that it's the world of senses, it's lovable, it's tangible, delightful, but it's the world of appearances. And now feel the back space, and feel, I don't know it, but there are stars back there and angelic beings and higher beings that I access when I can look into the spiritual world and let it become bright for you. Got that? Again, forwards into the sense world. Now, looking into the spiritual world and let it become bright for you in your imagination. All right. With that as a preparation, we're going to enter the world of the poem that we're going to do as we work our way towards the season of All Souls Day, as we work our way towards the season of November, which is traditionally a time of feeling things coming to an end in the darkness. So we're going to take this poem that says, We'll work on this a lot. We worked a little bit last June, so some of you might be a bit familiar with it, but even then we only began it. The poem is this. Into the depths of the earth, lead the paths that we tread, while from the heights of heaven, our star shines from afar. We stand on the earth. We are chained in matter, but we are free. For we go between darkness and light, and of darkness and light are we. And the path that we tread leads us on till we come once again to the light, and ever descend we anew, and ever return to the light. And so we'll begin working right now on the form that we're going to use for that. And the form is built on a cross. And with what we've already begun today, you understand the principles that we'll be working with. And again, we're laying seeds for what will really flower in a couple of weeks. And I'm sure you'll all enjoy doing this as part of your daily practice. It's such a nourishing poem. Take your place and be sure that you have room for a few steps, 3 steps if possible, behind you. And imagine or create the intention that the place where you're starting is at the center of a cross. Cross forwards, backwards, to your right, and to your left. And each of these dimensions will have a different sensation. So let's go forward first and feel I go into the world of the senses. As I just said, this is a world of appearances, beautiful, shiny, delightful, but appearances. Go back to your center where you are in between spirit and matter. Take 3 steps back. Now feel back there is where I receive my understanding, the spiritual thoughts. So open your back when you're back here. Now as you take 3 steps forward again, feel that you're still illuminated from the back as you stand in balance between front and back, between darkness and light. And let's try again. I go into the depths of the earth, back to the center. I go back into the spiritual world, sensing the light back there, and come forwards and I stand in balance. 3 steps forward, back to center, feeling your back. 3 steps back to center. 3 steps to your left, standing between light and dark. 3 steps to your right, and back to the center. I meant 5 steps to the right there, sorry. And now I'll integrate that into the first verse of the poem. And this you can practice then. Into the depths of the earth. Now I feel down and I feel front. I return, leave the paths that we tread. Now I go back, feeling light. I'm searching my quest, where I go at night when I sleep, where I go for inspiration, where I go when I die. While from the heights of heaven, our star shines from afar. Do your best to stand here feeling yourself in balance between light and dark. Take 3 steps to your left. We stand on the earth. Make this matter of fact as you balance front space and back space. To your right, 5 steps. We are chained in matter. Go back to the center, but we are free. Feel yourself between these dimensions of space, connected to the star above your head, to the world around you, to front space and back space. Again, this is just the beginning of the poem, but we're just beginning this journey. Here we go. Into the depths of the earth, leading forward. Feel your back space. Feel yourself pulled back to center. Lead the paths that we tread. Now go back. Wow, from the heights of heaven, our star shines from afar. To your left, we stand on the earth. We are chained in matter, but we are free. We'll continue with this next week. I just give you one more reminder that we still practice threefold walking with every step, touching with the toes first, which enable us to move smoothly following our heart. Okay? And your feet are telling the story of your journey to the earth. So again, into the depths of the earth. Lead the paths that we tread, while from the heights of heaven, our star shines from afar. We stand on the earth. We are chained in matter, but we are free. For we go between darkness and light, and of darkness and light are we, standing straight. Now, of course, we'll do a lot of work with our arms, including the vowels and color sensations as we go through this. But for today's journey, I really wanted you to immerse yourself in feeling the texture of space. So practice that at home. Get used to moving in diagonals and straight lines. And next week, we'll do a deep immersion into how to do curves. Let's take a moment now at the end to remember our practice, what we've done, and let's fold our arms. Thank you. Let's stay on the call for a little bit longer so that we can do a little bit of conversation together. Let me just refresh for you what's important from today, that you will do the peace exercise as the opening exercise to this series. We'll do contraction, expansion. We'll practice movement in different directions. We'll do the rods. That would be your 5 to 10 minute or 15-minute daily practice, but then you can add on to it more things as we develop this. So you'll develop the poem that we're working on, and you'll develop the sounds, but your core will now be structured around those rod exercises that we've done last time. Of course, you can always do those soul exercises on for your 7-week series if you're still working on those. I hope you are.